right. Hey guys, it's Coach Mike, owner of Empowered Sports and Fitness, and I am back again for the families that we work with on an individual basis. And myself and Coach Brian, who you're going to see in just a second, are going to do an at-home workout that you can do with your athlete, okay? So you may have already seen our 2 dynamic warm-up videos. After you've completed those dynamic warm-up videos, you're going to jump right into the workout itself. So I'm going to have Coach Brian come on over, and we're going to walk through this thing real slow for everyone to be able to see at home. So the first thing I want everybody to see at home is the setup. So we've got our spot markers first, our cones second, and our hurdles third. Okay? So that's the order you want to set this up. Now, you may not have enough space to put out all the spot markers and all the cones and all the hurdles. If that's the case, then maybe you use 3 of the spot markers, 1 set of the cones, a few of the hurdles, and you'll still be able to accomplish everything that we're about to show you. So the first part of this workout is, and let me just set this up for everybody, we're going to start with our ball throws. There are 3 kinds of ball throws that we do. We do push throws, overhead throws, and scoop throws. We're going to demonstrate how you can do that with a ball. If you don't have a ball, maybe you can find something else in the house, perhaps a pillow. Or if you have nothing at all, we're going to show you how to do it with no equipment at all. So, first things first, we're going to start with our push throws. A nice underhand throw to the athlete. The athlete's going to hold the ball on their chest and push throw to the coach. And we're going to aim for 10 push throws. Okay? That is your push throw. If you don't have a piece of equipment to utilize for this, a ball, all you're going to do is hold your hands up at your chest and push them away from your body to represent the push throw. So hands back at the chest and hands away from the body. So you can do that 10 times if you don't have a ball. Okay? Next, we're going to move to the overhead throw. Now, the important part about the overhead throw that you want to make sure that the athlete is doing is they bring that ball all the way back behind the head and it touches the upper part of the back. So we're also going to aim for 10 overhead throws. So Brian's going to go ahead and do a few overhead throws for us. There's 1 and 2 overhead throws. Good overhead throws, Coach Brian. And 3 overhead throws. Now again, if you don't have any equipment, you can still work on the movement itself by placing the hands back behind the head and following through as if you're doing an overhead throw. Perfect. Finally, we've got our scoop throw. So the thing about the scoop throw that we make sure all of our athletes are doing is they have their feet a little further than shoulder distance apart. Okay, there you go. And let me just move this back so we can see Brian's feet. Perfect, right there. And this is a multi-step movement. So the first step here is to bend the knees. So Coach Brian's going to go ahead and bend his knees. Perfect. He's in the scoop throw position, and as he stands up, he's going to do an underhand toss to the coach. Excellent. So what we like to tell our athletes is they're taking a giant scoop of ice cream and they're scooping it out with a nice underhand scoop. And again, if you don't have a piece of equipment, no big deal. You can still go through the motions by bending your knees and swinging your hands upward into the scoop throw position. So those are our ball throws, okay? Next, we're actually, before we get to this, Coach Brian, we're going to go into our pulls, okay? And typically for our pulls, we use a resistance band, okay? So for our pulls, before actually Coach Brian takes the band, we always ask our athletes to show us their palms so that we can place the band in their hand. Now you can see that Coach Brian has his arms fully extended out in front of him. He's ready to go into the pull. As the coach, you do not have to provide great resistance, something very easy that will allow our athletes to pull the band to their shirt. So Brian, big pull 1, Coach Brian, big pull 2, Coach Brian, big pull 3. So what we're trying to aim for there is 10 pulls. All right. And if you don't have the band, as Coach Brian was demonstrating, to go through the motion, putting your hands out in front and pulling them back. So hands out in front and hands back. Very simple verbal cues. We don't want to over-explain it for our athletes. Okay, finally, before we get into the obstacle piece of our workout, we are going to do an overhead press. So for a lot of the athletes that we work with, many of the families have a sandbag at home. If you don't have a sandbag at home, you can find something that the athlete can put in their hand, such as a pillow or a water bottle, or maybe you even have some dumbbells at home, something that they're able to hold onto that allows them to stay grounded and feel that they have a purpose as they're moving through this exercise. So Coach Brian's going to start with the bag on his chest, and he's going to press it all the way up over his head and all the way back down to his chest. Now, I'm going to have Coach Brian turn to the side so that you guys can see this, and I'm going to do a little bit of physical cueing, physical coaching. A lot of times what we see from our athletes is rather than them pushing the bag straight up over the head, they have a tendency to go out in front because of the lack of shoulder mobility. So we can help guide our athletes with one hand on the back, one hand on the front of the forearm, and make sure that they are pressing that bag up over their head. Awesome. Okay, now we are ready to jump into the next part of our workout, which involves our spot markers, our cone touches, or our cones, and our hurdles. So what I'm going to have Coach Brian do, and I'm going to show you here on our piece of paper so that you can follow along at home. Right now, we just completed A through E, okay? And we're going to jump into A1, our short hops, our cone touches, and our hurdle steps. And as you can see, I have a 2X next to each of these, which means we're going to do this 2 times through. So Coach Brian's going to start on the spot markers with his short hops. Go ahead, Coach Brian, short hops to the cones. Excellent short hops, Coach Brian. Very nicely done. Now, we're at the cones. The cones are set up so that they're a little bit outside of shoulder distance, okay? And Brian's going to put his feet as close to the cones as possible. And what we like to cue our athletes on here with is bending knees, touching cones. Good bending knees, good cone touch. Now, if you notice, Coach Brian is going all the way down and standing all the way up. And if Coach Brian just turns to the side really quickly, what we are looking for here is a nice flat back. All right, knees stay behind the toes rather than, and Coach Brian, I'm going to have you round your back, pushing those knees in front of your toes. That is what we want to try and stay away from. So, once Coach Brian has done one cone touch, go ahead, one cone touch, he's going to step forward to the next set of cones. Excellent cone touch, stepping forward, Coach Brian. Beautiful cone touch and freeze right there. Now we're going to get to our hurdles. The thing with the hurdles that we like to cue our athletes about is having high knees. So Coach Brian's going to step over the hurdles with big, high knees. Excellent hurdle steps, nice high knees, very good. So that was one time through. Now we're going to bring it back for our second time. So Coach Brian over those hurdles, nice high knees, beautifully done, good high knees, and cone touch. Beautiful cone touch. Next set of cones, cone touch. Excellent set of cone touches, cone touch. And let's see those short hops, please. Beautiful short hops, Coach Brian. Okay, now coming back to our workout sheet. We're going to move on to A2. We're going to start to progress the movements a little bit. So we're still going to do our short hops, cone touches, and hurdle steps, but now we're going to add different components. So for A2, we're going to do short hops and push throws. For B2, we're going to do cone touches and pulls. And for C2, we're going to do hurdles with a bag carry. So just give me a second here to go ahead and prop up the camera. I'm going to put this down here so you guys can see what we are doing. Okay, perfect. So Coach Brian's going to start with the short hops and push throws. So Coach Brian's going to short hop to yellow, and I'm going to throw him the ball. He's going to catch and push throw. Short hop to orange, and we're going to do another push throw. Short hop to green, good short hop, good catch, good push throw. And we're going to continue that all the way through our short hops. Now, coming over to our cone touches, we're going to add the component of the pull. Oh, and just to take a quick step back, once again, if you don't have a ball, the athlete can do a short hop and follow through with the motion. Same thing on the cone touches to pulls. They would do a cone touch, hands out in front, and then they would do a pull. So Coach Brian is going to do his cone touch and going into one pull. Good. And stepping forward, cone touch and pull. Very nice. And Coach Brian would go all the way through his cone touches, doing his pulls. And finally, holding on to that bag, 1 second, Coach Brian. Coach Brian's going to hold on to the bag that I just gave him. And once again, with high knees, he is going to step over the hurdles, keeping that bag on his chest. Excellent work, Coach Brian. Now he's going to go all the way back through, holding that bag on his chest. Big high knees. Very nice. You could just put that bag off to the side. Now I'm going to have Coach Brian do the cone touch and a pull without the band. Excellent. And let's see that cone touch and pull. Very nice pull and cone touch and pull. And if we were going back the other way, short hop without the ball, push throw. So hands away from the body. Away from the body. Good job, Coach Brian. Very nicely done. Okay. Coming back to our sheet. We are now right here at, A4. Oh, no, I'm sorry. A3. I jumped ahead. So we're going to do our squat to push throw, our squat to overhead press, and our squat to pulls. So we are going to go ahead and leave our obstacle, and we are going to move on to a different portion of our workout. So give us a second here while I set up the camera, and I'm going to put a chair down for Coach Brian to sit in. Okay. Oops, we can get that out of here. Okay, so our athlete is going to go ahead and have a seat in the chair. And we are now going to work on our squat to push throw. So we already know how to do the push throw. We've already started with our cone touches, which has warmed us up for our squat. And now we're going to put those two movements together in a different way. So our athlete's going to start with the ball in their hands, and they are going to stand up. As soon as they stand up, they do their push throw. Now, before the athlete can sit back down, they must wait for the ball to come back to them so that they can squat and sit. So that would be 1. So Coach Brian's going to stand up, big push throw, excellent, catch, and squat. That's 2. Good push throw, and squat. That's 3. Good, keep it going. Push throw, and squat. 4, we'll do one more. Push throw, and squat. 5. Excellent squat to push throws, Coach Brian. Okay, next we have our squat to overhead press. So bringing back the bag into the mix. At the beginning of our workout today, we started off with an overhead press, and now we're going to combine that with a squat. So Coach Brian is going to keep the bag on his chest. He's going to stand up and push that bag up over his head. So squat to overhead press 1, squat to overhead press 2, good squat, good overhead press, excellent squat, perfect overhead press. So what we're going to aim for right there is 10 reps, okay? And finally, we're going to do our squat to pulls. So I'm going to jump back in here with Coach Brian. Coach Brian is going to have a seat in the chair, and placing the band in our athlete's hand, they're going to stand up, big pull, and squat. Good. Big pull, and squat. Excellent squat to pulls. And big pull, and squat. Very nicely done, Coach Brian. Perfect. So, taking a look at our sheet, that was a 3, B3, and C3. You can go through this 2 times. Okay, so you would do another set of squat to push throws, another set of squat to overhead presses, and another set of squat to pulls. Now, moving on to A4, B4, and C5. We're going to do our bag carries, or we can substitute bag carries for farmer walks. We're going to do some toes and some overhead carries. So once again, I'm going to set up the camera down here so you guys can see what we are doing. And very quickly, I'm going to go ahead and move our hurdles out of the way. We can just put those off to the side. And we are going to start with our bag carries. So Coach Brian's going to come all the way back here. He's going to hold the bag on his chest, and we are going to aim for 10 laps. All right, 10 laps. So Coach Brian's going to hold that bag on his chest. Excellent job holding that bag on your chest. That's lap number 1. Walking it all the way back for lap number 2. Excellent form. We want to make sure that that athlete has a nice, tall spine, that there's no rounding in the back like this as they are carrying it, okay? So, excellent bag carries. If you wanted to substitute the bag carries for a farmer walk, that's awesome. What you would need is 2 objects of equal weight that would be able to be held, like Coach Brian's demonstrating, in either hand. So, just for example, we're just holding on to the one bag. Imagine that Coach Brian's got a second bag in his hand or a pair of dumbbells. And again, he wants to keep a nice tall spine, walking all the way down. He doesn't want his arms to be shifting from side to side. We really want to create some core stability as we do that farmer walk. Excellent, Coach Brian. Now, we are going to move into our toes, okay? So, you can utilize the same band, okay, that you were doing in your pulls, okay? And I just want to check one thing so everybody can see what it is that we are doing. Yes, we can. Okay, so a toe looks like this. I'm going to have Coach Brian stand in front of me here on an angle, okay? And I'm going to have him hold onto the band. His arms are going to be straight out in front of him. And if Coach Brian can move over here just a little bit. And I'm going to have him start to walk backwards while I provide the resistance, okay? So this is what a toe looks like. And we will go all the way back. Here, we want to try and aim for about 5 laps if we can. So Coach Brian's walking back as I provide him with the resistance. So now you're working on the posterior chain, all right? The back, all right? All of that push is coming through the legs. We don't want our athlete, and I'll demonstrate, we don't want our athlete, whoops, now that I got the band tangled. We don't want our athlete pulling the band towards their body as if they're doing a pull. We want their arms straight out in front of them. Okay, perfect. And finally, we're going to do our overhead carry. So going back to the back to the sandbag, Coach Brian's going to hold the bag over his head, and he is going to walk laps. All right? For this, we're going to try and aim for about 5 laps. Excellent overhead carry, Coach Brian. Beautifully done. Perfect. Okay. Thank you. All right, moving on. We're going to check out our workout list here. So we just completed a 4, B4, and C5. Now we're down here to A5, B5, and C5. Okay? So in A5, it says knee lifts or bear walks. So we're going to demonstrate both and what these look like. And then after that is the chest press and the bridges. So these 3 exercises happen to be floor exercises. Coach Brian, if you don't mind, can you just drag that table off to the side really quickly, and we'll show the folks at home how we can do our floor exercises. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Actually, I'll put this right up here so we have a nice little angle of where Coach Brian is. Okay, so we're going to go into our knee lifts, okay? So Coach Brian, I would like for you to get down in tabletop position. And if you could position your body to the side so everybody at home can see you. All right, this is our tabletop position, okay? And what I'm going to have Coach Brian do here is have him lift his knees off the ground. Okay, oh, hold on, that's a different exercise, Coach Brian. And I'm going to step in to give Coach Brian a physical cue. So, we want our athletes to lift both knees at the same time off the ground, lifting knees, and nice and easy back down to the ground. We don't want our athletes slamming their knees into the ground, which is why if you can find a soft area, a carpeted area, or a yoga pad to use, then please do so. So, lifting knees, nice job. Excellent lifting knees. So, the lifting of the knees is the basic part of a bear crawl. If your athlete is capable of doing a bear crawl, and I'll just have Coach Brian demonstrate a small bear crawl here, you have to lift the knees off the ground and using both hands and feet, walking like a bear. Perfect job, Coach Brian. Excellent. Okay, coming back to our soft, cushiony, carpeted area. the next movement we're going to do is a chest press. So I'm going to have Coach Brian lie down on the floor. Back is flat on the floor. And actually, Brian, if you could turn the other way. Perfect. I'll get these out of the way. We're going to do our chest press with our sandbag. So notice how he has a nice flat back. His feet are anchored on the floor. The head is relaxed. I'm going to bring the bag over to the athlete, and I'm going to place it on their chest first. All right? Now, for a physical cue for the athlete, I like to hold my hand up here so they have a target to hit. And you want to aim for about 10 chest presses, okay? And before you take any weight away from an athlete, you want to make sure that they finish the movement, the bag is now in a safe place, and we take the weight away. Excellent chest presses, Coach Brian. You're actually going to stay there for one more movement, and this is the beauty about our floor exercises. We're going to do our glute bridges. Okay, so I'm going to jump back on over here to show you how we would help give our athlete the physical cue for this exercise. With your hand, placing it under the small part of the back, you're going to give that physical cue to have your athlete lift their bottom off the ground. Now notice, and I'm going to have Coach Brian come back down. Coach Brian, again, is once grounded, feet on the ground, flat back. Hands are down, and actually to give yourself some more support, you can put palms down, okay? The head is flat and lifting up. Good bridge and down. Good, lifting up and down. Excellent bridges. So we want to aim for about 10 bridges, okay? Very nicely done, Coach Brian. To transition now from the structured part of what we're doing and add in a little bit of fun and creativity. One of the games that all of our athletes really love to play, and I'll show you right here at the bottom of the sheet, is a fun running game called Stack Attack. So I'm going to quickly set that up with Coach Brian. I'm going to video him while he does this. Coach Brian, you can put the big cones down here if you would like. All right. So Coach Brian is going to make a line with the big cones and utilizing the mini cones. Coach Brian right over here are the mini cones. So we've got our big cones lined up, and on the opposite side, we're going to put our mini cones. Okay? Just like this. And the objective here is to run and match the cones. But what we're going to do for our athlete is set a time limit. So maybe we give them 30 seconds or 15 seconds or even 10 seconds if we want to really challenge them. All right, so I would say to Coach Brian, I'm going to give you 15 seconds to match all the cones. On your mark, get set, go. Time has started. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, and so on and so forth. This is a great game to finish off an awesome workout with and have a whole lot of fun. And as you can see, Coach Brian is doing an awesome job. It definitely gets the heart rate up, okay? And after we finish this game, we're going to end our workout with a cool down. And I'm going to show you how you can do that cool down utilizing just a chair. So give us 1 second. We're going to clear out the cones for you so we can show you how to do our cool down in a chair. Thank you, Coach Brian. We can just put those off to the side. All right, and I'm going to turn the chair this way so that you can see how Coach Brian utilizes the chair for this. Okay, so this is a great, easy, simple way to do a cool down utilizing some static stretches and a chair. So the first thing that we're going to do is a lower back stretch. So I compare this to a waterfall. So what Coach Brian is going to do is he's going to take a deep breath And like water going over a waterfall, he's going to lower his hands between his legs down to the ground. So he took a deep breath in, now he took a deep breath out going down, and he's going to hold that for a count of 3, 2, and 1, and coming back up. Okay? So we're going to do that one more time. Deep breath in, waterfall down to the ground, nice lower back stretch, holding for 3, 2, and 1. Very nice, Coach Brian. So that's our lower back stretch. Now, I'm going to have Coach Brian stand back up so you can see this one from a different angle. We are going to do what's called a figure 4 stretch. All right? So you probably see this a lot on New York City subways when people are taking up a lot of space. They like to cross their legs. So for this particular exercise, and I'll show you from a different angle why it's called a figure 4, you've got, ready? Go ahead, Coach Brian. You got your 4, the triangle, and the line that comes down from the 4. So what you're going to try and do is, as you can see, Brian has his ankle resting on top of his knee. All right? This is a wonderful stretch for the hip flexors. Okay? And Brian is going to hold this particular position for 10 seconds. All right? So he's nice, he's relaxed, holding it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now he's going to switch legs. Okay? Bringing the other leg up into our figure 4 stretch. We want to go through that 2 times. So each leg would get 10 seconds each. Perfect. And for our final movement, the last stretch, we're going to do a calf stretch. And I'm going to show you this 2 ways. One with a chair and one with a wall. So we're going to position the chair so that the legs are propped up against the wall so that the chair is not moving and we are not scratching any floors. So what I'm going to have Coach Brian do is stand behind the chair with his hands on the top of the chair, and he is going to drop one leg back, whichever leg you prefer. Good, and we'll bring it back just a little bit further, and right there we can get a simple calf stretch. So Coach Brian's going to hold that calf stretch for 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now he's going to switch feet, and he's going to hold that for 10 seconds. And again, we're going to go through this 2 times so that both the right and the left leg each get 10 seconds. Now, if you don't have a chair, not a problem. I'm just going to move this out of the way. You can use a wall. And the thing about the wall is you want to make sure that when your hands are on the wall, they are shoulder height. You don't want the hands above the head. So Brian, if you can show everybody, if you crept your hands up on the wall, yep, we don't want our hands up there. We want them shoulder height. So as you can see, Brian is holding the same position. A nice, simple, easy calf stretch for our athlete, holding 10 seconds on each of the legs. So that is our at-home workout for our empowered sports and fitness athletes. If you have any questions or any concerns, please feel free to reach out at any time. We're always here to help. Remember to keep moving, have fun, and stay tuned for some more videos. All right, thank you very much, dude. Excellent.